Imagine doing everything right. Eating cleaner, pushing your body week after week yet the same stubborn fat refuses to disappear. The belly, the lower back, the thighs. It feels unfair, almost personal. But the truth is, your body, isn't ignoring your effort. It's following biology. And once you understand the science behind why certain fat stays, everything about fat loss begins to make sense. Fat loss is not just a calorie equation, it's a hormonal and neurological process controlled by your brain. Deep inside the hypothalamus, your brain constantly monitors energy availability, stress signals, and hormone levels. When it senses threat, whether from extreme dieting, chronic stress, or poor sleep, it activates protective systems designed to preserve energy. In simple terms, your brain starts defending certain fat stores as survival reserves. This is why spot reduction rarely works. When fat cells release stored energy, they do so based on blood flow, receptor density, and hormone sensitivity, not where you want them to shrink. Areas like the lower abdomen and hips often contain more alpha-2 receptors, which slow fat release. It's not stubborn because you're failing. It's stubborn because your biology is cautious. But understanding this changes everything. Because once you work with your brain, hormones, and metabolism instead of fighting them, fat loss becomes far more predictable. Even more surprising is that your brain determines where fat leaves last. Fat cells contain different receptors that control how easily stored energy is released. Some areas like the arms or face contain more beta receptors, which encourage fat breakdown. But stubborn regions like the lower belly, hips, and thighs contain more alpha-2 receptors, which slow the process dramatically. That's why those areas seem frozen while the rest of your body changes. Stress makes this even harder. When cortisol stays elevated from poor sleep, chronic dieting, or intense life pressure, the brain signals the body to store energy around the midsection. From a biological perspective, this is protective. The body is preparing for survival. But in modern life, constant stress keeps that signal active for far too long. Nutrition also affects how easily fat cells release energy. Stable blood sugar levels allow hormones like insulin to stay balanced, which helps the body access stored fat more efficiently. Protein supports satiety and protects muscle mass, while healthy fats and micronutrients help regulate hormonal signals that influence metabolism. Exercise plays a neurological role as well. Resistance training improves insulin sensitivity and increases muscle demand for energy. Over time, this shifts the body's metabolic priorities, encouraging fat to be used as fuel rather than stored. Fat loss isn't random. It's the result of coordinated signals between your brain, hormones, and metabolism. The final piece of the puzzle is patience with biology. Your body doesn't burn fat in a straight line. It follows a survival hierarchy controlled by the brain. The areas you want to change the most are often the areas your body protects the longest. From an evolutionary perspective, stubborn fat stores acted as emergency fuel reserves during periods of starvation. That ancient survival system still operates today, even in a world where food is constantly available. But when the right signals are repeated consistently, the system begins to shift. Strength training builds muscle that raises resting metabolic demand. Daily movement increases energy expenditure without overwhelming the nervous system. Quality sleep restores hormonal balance and lowers cortisol, allowing fat-burning signals to become stronger again. Nutrition strengthens this process. Adequate protein preserves lean tissue while the body burns fat. Fiber and whole foods stabilize blood sugar, preventing insulin spikes that shut down fat oxidation. Omega-3 fats help reduce inflammation that can disrupt metabolic communication between the brain and body. The real transformation happens when these inputs align. Instead of trying to force fat loss in a specific area, you improve the entire metabolic environment. Over time, the body becomes more efficient at releasing stored energy, including from the places that once felt impossible to change. Fat loss isn't about attacking one stubborn spot. It's about teaching your brain and metabolism to work together again.